It is 2026. If you're not creating your own software, especially when something is not doing exactly what you need to do, maybe you have some internal operations that are very complex and needs various different integrations, capabilities that a traditional software platform or big company that you're currently using can't do, or say maybe you have an idea, or say you notice that over time, a lot of these subscriptions, they're quickly adding up. And because of that, you're forcing yourself to pay more than you ideally want for these softwares. Well, here's the thing, this is a universal problem. I don't think anyone woke up today wanting to have another subscription or recurring payment added to their monthly bills and expenses. And realistically speaking, a lot of these subscriptions and platforms that you're currently paying for, there's probably only like 20% of the feature set or whatever it is that their primary unique selling proposition is, or feature that attracts everyone. It's probably like the only thing that you want, right? Well, the whole point of this video is to share that AI and agents just made subscriptions and custom software, all that stuff, totally irrelevant, especially if you're becoming technical, if you understand how it is to code and create things with these agents. I'm a huge proponent of at least learning foundational AI skills, understanding how it is to create these things, because it's like, say, learning how to recite the alphabet, or even speaking and communicating, because if you can prompt the AI and you can use the AI in unique ways, you can literally create ideas with your thoughts. That's how powerful it is. And now the new coding language is literally English. All right, real quick, I want to play this clip because it's quite important. And this is something that the OpenClaw creator mentioned on one of Lex Friedman's podcasts. I'm going to play that right now. And I want to digest that for a bit right after with you guys.
You mentioned that a lot of the apps might be basically made obsolete. You think agents will just transform the entire app market?
Yeah, I noticed that on Discord, people just said like what they build and what they use it for. And like, why do you need MyFitnessPal when the agent already knows where I am? So can assume that I make bad decisions when I'm at, I don't know, so what's around here? Or Briskets in Austin?
There's no bad decisions around Briskets, but yeah.
No, that's the best decision in Austin.
Your agent should know that.
But he can modify my gym workout based on how well I slept, or if I stress or not. Like, it has so much more context to make even better decisions than any of us even could do. It could show me why, just as I like. Why do I still need an app to do that? Why do I have to have a subscription for something that the agent can just do now? And why do I need my 8 sleep app to control my bed and tell the agent to? No, the agent already knows where I am, so I can like turn off.
All right, that's really what I wanted to show you, but this is something that when I first started here, like, it kind of just clicked in my subconscious mind that these are patterns that I was noticing but just not speaking. But it's so true here, especially if you're working with AI agents. Because if you're using already tools like, say, Claude Code, if you're using, say, like your own personal AI agents, these things are building so much data. And I'm a huge proponent. I've been preaching about this in my previous videos. It's a philosophy that I carry, is that you want to have and control your own data, because the more data it has about you, like, what are you journaling about? What are you thinking about? What's your health metrics looking like? What does your calendar look like? What integrations it has access to? What's the performance of your business? What kind of integrations can maybe enrich in the data set of like what your AI can talk to? You know what I mean? That's why memory, just as a simple feature on these AI platforms, is so important. Why a lot of these companies, they want users to import memory from different platforms. So the more memory and context your AI has about you, it can literally do things that Peter here is talking about. And the reason why that is so powerful, especially with an AI agent, is because you can literally create dashboards on demand based on exactly what it is you need. In the future, it's all just going to be generative on demand, meaning there doesn't need to be any specific locked in platforms or subscriptions where, say, you have to pay for a very specific feature set, when now AI just in real time can generate you the data, the information, the UI, the user experience that is exactly needed for what it is that you're looking for. And the same thing applies for internal operations, internal tools, personal tools, lifestyle tools. I'll show you some examples too of like what I'm currently doing, just so you can kind of get an understanding. But it doesn't necessarily mean you need an app, a web app, or something all the time. This could also just be personal life automations, your own newsletter, whatever it is. All this stuff can be highly personalized now to you. And the thing is, like, big companies already see this. They're trying to, in their own unique way, restructure the whole entire foundation. Like, I know Block is doing this with like Jack Dorsey. They're trying to restructure their whole entire company, so their whole entire company can at some point have like AI at its core foundation, like as the bedrock, and then everything from there for like their customers and their clients. It's all generative and on-demand experiences, presenting them the financial data or like whatever it is their Block users are using Block for. And the same thing is literally applying here. Like, this is what the video here is. It's where literally all the apps, all of these different subscriptions, is all going to get replaced by AI. You know what I mean? So there's still probably a window at some point where you can probably make a lot of money of it. You know what I mean? A lot of people are hopping into apps, creating mobile apps, web apps, whatever. And there's this big wave and like exodus from like old business models into this, because now you can literally just create with your thoughts in your mind, which is extremely powerful. But at the same time, a lot of subscriptions and softwares, they can easily just go away. Because, for instance, maybe 2 years ago, I would have considered considered, say, getting a productivity calendar. I know there's this really popular one called like Motion or something like that. And like, no offense to these guys, or like, I'm not trying to like, give them any shade or anything like that. But now we live in a current environment, especially if you're very proficient and you understand these AI tools, where what you can literally do is just vibe code and prompt the whole entire Motion stack, the Motion app for like calendar management or whatever with your AI. And these tools are getting so incredibly good where I can just zero shot them. You know what I mean? They're just so incredibly good where you don't even need subscription platforms anymore. If you want your own version of Motion or Google Calendar, Google Sheets, you can literally have your AI create it for you, connect it to a database, and then get it to do more things on top of what, say, Google Sheets or any of these other platforms can do. That's the state we're in, and 2026 is going to be crazy, and it's still just ramping up, right? Like the biggest thing of the year probably was OpenClaw and like these personal AI assistants, but I can't imagine what's going to happen in, say, the next 2 months, next 3 months after that, say to the end of the year, is getting freaking crazy. And the thing is, like, you don't have to feel like you have to get all these subscriptions, all these different platforms, all these different tools for whatever business you're in. You just have to learn the basic foundations and understand that, like, hey, what are you looking for here? How can you create something here? And then how can you make it your own so you can just remove the entire need of having all of this extra clutter in your life, all these extra apps, because they're not even becoming essential anymore. So it does kind of raise some questions like, hey, how are you going to monetize your businesses? How are you going to get customers? There's probably going to be a bunch of people at the end of the day that aren't technical and don't understand the stuff and don't want to do it. That's totally fine, because there's always going to be people like that. But, for the rest of us who kind of want to understand how to use a skill, maybe they find it very foundational and important. I think it's a super foundational skill. It's like learning how to ride a bike. You know what I mean? You want to have this under your belt so you can generate things on demand, because that's the future we're heading towards, where everything's just personalized on demand experiences with AI. The faster they get, the more intelligent they get, and how incredible it is of like what they can potentially produce for you. It's insane. And that's kind of like what I hinted at, but all this stuff's already happening, right? Personal software business owners are doing this on the inside. So it's really just about figuring out what specific problems and things you run into where you can literally do this for yourself. So the way I'm approaching all this stuff here is that so here's the thing, not everyone here is coming to build out a full entire software platform. Not everyone here wants to be some sort of tech entrepreneur. Not everyone wants all that. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying the whole point of this video is not to become some sort of tech entrepreneur. It's more so to understand the skill, the philosophy behind what's going on here, and how you can have this as like a superpower card. It's like a Yu-Gi-Oh card, right? Like, hey, I can always pull out this card, because especially in entrepreneurship, whatever, if you have like all these different cards of like, say, copywriting, marketing with Facebook ads, knowing how to sell and close people on calls, like these are just extra cards you have in your stack that make you like a super powerful person individually. You know what I mean? But the way I'm approaching this is that if I'm not making this my main thing because there are other priorities and focuses currently in my life, I'm approaching this from the standpoint of, hey, if I need something something's very clunky, something doesn't feel right, some tool I'm currently using doesn't make sense anymore to use, because I could just automate this with, say, a Claude hook, maybe a scheduled task, backend automation, maybe say I want my own version of something, maybe I want to train my own automation trading agent or something like that. Whenever I have just like these quick ideas, I can just knock them out in, say, maybe an evening, or maybe say a weekend where I have a bunch of time. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to get in that 1 hour of focused time and then build it. But here's the thing. I've done it in the past, especially to like vibe coding and just coding tools, where what happens is like, hey, I'm going to build this thing for myself and then I'm going to try to sell it right away without actually me being the power super user. So the thing is, like, you don't have to go into this thinking you're going to make this some big Fortune 500 company or some massive software platform. In fact, that's not going to be your main thing. If that's not going to be your go-to strategy, where you're quickly going out there and trying to produce content, push this thing out, market it first, and figure out how you can get into the hands of thousands of users, then don't try to productize it right off the bat. Because the approach I'm taking right now is, while I do have other priority focuses in motion and in play that I want to actually see materialize, what I'm doing instead is building for myself as the core super user. And then from there, I'm just going to figure out like, hey, I'm going to use this product for a week. I'm going to use this product for a couple days. I'm going to use this product for X amount of time. And then if it makes sense, maybe I'll build a mobile app version of it. If it makes sense, maybe I'll add this extra feature, or maybe I'll see what I can do to stretch it to like really work and do something for me with a potential eye. Now, here's a key thing: with a potential eye to monetize it at some point in the future. Because if it works for me, if I'm a crazy sticky user that doesn't hop off it, that means I have some sort of product market fit with myself, which is super important, because you don't want to create a tool that no one uses, especially if you're in a software game and this is all recurring memberships. Like, no one like I said in the beginning of the video, who wakes up in the morning asking themselves, I want another software subscription? Like, nobody and their mom talks about that or even says that. So the same thing applies to you. If you want to create an amazing amazing product that you can at some point monetize, but it's not your main thing. How about you create it for yourself or for your own business or some sort of process or maybe your team or something like that, where you can first get people or like a set of people on it, like most importantly yourself, if you can use it every single day. And if this is something that actually builds and forms a habit, because if it forms a habit, that's where the software subscription aspect of the business model can make you extremely profitable long term. Because if you know you can turn yourself into a sticky user, then you can probably do the same thing at scale with other people. So the key idea here is to build for yourself, and then from there productize with a vision in a potential eye of like, hey, like if I structure and create this thing, I want to be able at some point to lay the foundation from the very beginning where I can onboard people. Because if you don't think from that lens, then that means that you're just creating something that is just like super hyper personalized to you, and then you're just gonna have to like invest that extra time to make this into an actual product. So I'm going to show you actually something I did in just a moment here. Okay, so this is a calendar that I currently use for myself, and it's just a simple template, and I've been doing this for all the months, right? So you can see here, like these have real values here, but I'm not going to go into that because I have to update, because there is some sensitive stuff and I'm not trying to reveal that. So out of respect. But what I did here was I will show you just some things, because I started this past weekend. This is literally what I mean. I just coded this up and created it in a single weekend. And now what I'm trying to do is make this into a sort of like superhuman product, but for my productivity calendar. And by the way, like if you want to try it out yourself, you can just visit this domain. At some point, it's probably going to change to something legit and authentic, but right now it's completely free. And the whole idea of what I'm trying to do here is just to productize this whole thing, but through making myself a super sticky user and seeing if I can fall in love with the product, build habits, and get in the flow of using this. So down the line, there probably will be some sort of integrations. Maybe I can connect it to some apps, maybe some AI. But the thing is, I'm not trying to overinflate this just to say it's an AI product or whatever. Like I'm just trying to solve my problem, create a sticky habit, and then from there, make it a tool that is literally something super productive, something I love using. It's so easy, keeps me in flow. You know what I mean? It just solves the current problem of like not having to deal with like this BS here where I have to literally update all the columns, all the days, month to month. Like, you know, all these numbers here, these are all outdated from like a previous year. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I would have to hire a virtual assistant to do all this, or even have to do it myself manually, which is not something I want to do. You know what I mean? It's just a total waste of time. So what I'm doing instead here was I literally just created a software product for my own personal need. I think I'm going to want to access this thing on a mobile app. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn it into a mobile product as well for myself. And the thing right now is like, I'm not really too concerned about whether or not this is going to be profitable or not. Like that's not the whole point. The whole point is to solve my own personal problem. If I make it so good and so sticky for myself, then that's when I'll be like, hey, let's productize it. Let's see if there's something here where people are willing to pay for it. You know what I mean? So that's the angle of what I'm going. So this is one example. Okay, now here's another example. This is all mock data. Okay, but I was talking earlier this week on one of my videos that I created like a custom dashboard where it pulls in sales calls, it pulls in data from say my Stripe account, it pulls in data from my ads account, my YouTube ads account, it pulls in data from any other source that I've connected that say one platform currently doesn't do in a very specific way. Now this is like a very super white glove example here, because if I can create a custom dashboard that is very specific to me, like, okay, what are the trials, like cost to activate a trial, what is the cost to actually activate a sale, what is the actual closed metrics. So these are like very specific custom metrics and columns that I'm personally looking for, that one software may not do it, or maybe it does do it but partially, and then I would have to use another platform to say bridge the gap here. You see what I mean? Because sometimes like I've spoken to business owners where they have all these various different dashboards and they have to like open 12 different websites just to look at everything, export everything, and then go into their Claude tool or whatever tool they're using to make sense of it all. And that's a total waste of time, and I don't want you doing that yourself. So what you do instead here is build your own personal software. And this is here the most recent example of like a trading agent that I built. So yesterday I was actually made a video yesterday of like how this agent is working out, right? So it's trading on its own, it researched its own trading criteria. And every single day from 8 a.m. to I believe 5 p.m. every 3 hours, it sends me updates. But the thing is, it's trading every 15 minutes. It checks the market every 15 minutes in the background, doesn't notify me just to be annoying. And then it trades. It either closes the positions, opens them, or doesn't do anything. So these are just a few examples of like, hey, like I want my own agent to go out there and do things for me. You know what I mean? So this is like another thing you can do. So the thing is like, you don't need your own custom software, say your own finance. Okay, I was going to say here, you don't need your own financial advisor, but I'd be wrong to say that. So obviously do get a financial advisor for like your financial advice or whatever. But the thing is, I wanted to kind of try and experiment with my own financial risk in mind of, say, building my own trading agent that can potentially get outsized returns. You know what I mean? So right now I'm just trading with, say, paper money. This is all fake money. And if it does come out profitable and it works, hey, I'm going to put, say, real capital into this and then see where it goes. You know what I mean? But right now I'm just experimenting and creating these experiments to, say, automate parts of my life where they are either adding value, such as like to my net worth, they are maybe giving me insights that help me make more informed decisions. So this is like how you want to kind of think of it, how you can add value to your own life. It doesn't always have to be a software product. It could literally just be an automation, a script, or something that is running in the background to generate some value in your life in some unique way that is personalized to you, which is the trend in the future that we're going to. And I did mention this before, but I am going to say it one more time because it's so important. Build, like, especially if this is not your main thing and you're not trying to figure out how to get the profitability, an insane amount of MRR right off the bat, just build for yourself, make yourself the super user, the person that can't stop using the product with an eye of potentially like, what if in the future I can monetize this? If this becomes so good where I love using it every single day, people are asking me for it, or maybe say I'm thinking about, hey, let's just launch this into the ether and see if this actually gets sales. So keep that in mind. So like if you do have to quickly convert what you got, and if anything, like with AI, it's quite fast anyway, you can just convert everything to an actual product and, you know, build some wealth from there with a very scalable asset. And here's the thing, I don't want to leave you guys and just make you think that this is all just theory and stuff like that. I actually want to show you how you can do this yourself. This is not going to be like a full 0 to 1 video where I show you like everything, like whatever, but I do want to explain from the high level how you can literally just get started with yourself. This is something I love that Andrej Karpathy said. Dude's a huge, big deal in AI, long story short, but the new hottest language for programming is English. It's literally English. If you can speak English, if you can speak any language, you can code, because now the AI does it literally all for you. You don't need to code. You don't need to do no sort of math. You don't need some sort of computer science degree. If anything, I would just say stop doing all that shit, because you're wasting your time and your money doing all that. Because I never really, like, I did enroll into some courses. Some of them I finished, some of them I didn't, but I learned far more just literally creating projects for myself, businesses, ideas, launching them, getting a ton of failures, getting a ton of feedback from people, maybe some working, some don't, some sold, some not. And that's the fastest way you can learn, when you just build for yourself. So when you come into this, don't try to create a cooking app, especially if you don't like cooking. Don't do that. Create stuff for yourself. If it's for a business, if it's for your own internal usage, tools, something boring, whatever it is, create it for yourself, because these are specific needs and things that you need. Because if you need these things, you're going to use them and you're going to try to make them right and working, because then you can actually unroll yourself as a user. However, if you just build something because someone else did it, like, hey, I want to do that too, blah, 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 but it's something you don't really care about, you're going to lose motivation and you're not going to do it. Or alternatively, you just see everyone's doing this one thing, or maybe someone gave you like a project to kind of say get to the next level. Like, all these things, I've personally found them absolutely boring and just not something I'm interested in, especially too if you just don't like doing that stuff. So don't do that. Instead, like I said, find a project you can work on where you can potentially monetize it. There's some sort of motivation to do it, whether it's, say, you have to fix your processes, or maybe this is like something critical they have to do right now, or it's just important for you because, say, maybe some platform got really expensive and you want to move off it, you want to cancel the subscription. Now there's some sort of motivation to do something. So with that frame in mind, that's when you should go in and create an actual product. So use tools, literally, if you're an absolute beginner and you don't know what the hell you're doing, just download Claude Desktop. Download Claude Desktop, use either Claude Codework or Claude Code, and then just start speaking English. If you don't know what the heck you're doing, all you have to do is just make it as simple as this. Look, you open up Claude, right? You're either in Codework or you're in Claude Code. You pick the folder you want to build this in. The way I recommend the structure is somewhere on your computer, you want a development folder, and then within the development, you want to build everything. So you would select your folder and you want to be like, hey, Claude, build me this note-taking tool. Build me a custom dashboard where I can sync data from YouTube, Google, Facebook ads, Yelp ads, and my social media performance can also be reflected. Build out the layout. Tell me everything I have to integrate, what kind of accounts I have to create, and tell me what to do next. Like, it's literally as simple as just giving this thing a prompt of what I just did here. I just realized you couldn't see it before, but you literally just give this thing a prompt. You speak it in plain, simple English. And then from there, you just press send. And if you don't know what you're doing, just let it guide you. Just ask the questions. This is the easiest way you can start. Otherwise, go out there and use more sophisticated tools like Cursor AI, maybe just say Claude itself from the terminal. You can check out also Anti-Gravity. That's a great product by Google. They also have like some free credits you get every single month with their AI models. You can use Replit, Base 44, V0. There's so many tools out there that they make it ridiculously simple and easy to create products. I think a new one's called Auroric. There's so many of these that are coming out every single week. So if you're saying and giving yourself every excuse in the book to not be able to do any of this stuff, then you're just being flat out lazy and just incompetent. Just pick up one of these tools and just start speaking with your voice, and use some sort of like a speech to text tool like Whisperflow or Super Whisper to just speak to your computer and just get this thing done. Like, that's literally what I do. Start with something that annoys you, frustrates you, that's a clear pain point that you'd be motivated to solve, and then from there the AI will just put everything to work. I mean, this is 2026. Don't be someone incompetent. These tools are incredibly powerful. You can do so much stuff. In fact, like the most recent AI model by Claude, Mythos, I believe, they're preventing from releasing it into the public because of how powerful it is in terms of, say, the cybersecurity aspect of it. So I think what they're trying to do here is they're trying to deploy it to, say, like some of the biggest companies that the internet pretty much runs on, so it can patch up their own flaws and security issues. Because what this thing did was, like, it founded decade-long bugs and broken lines of code and some softwares where it literally just fixed it all on its own. It's insane. I mean? If no one can find that, but the AI can find that, then imagine how many vulnerabilities this thing can discover, say, at scale. You know what I mean? So these things are becoming extremely powerful. The whole point of this video is not to talk about cybersecurity, but just like the current state of AI that we're in, and how there's literally no excuse why you can't do this stuff yourself. So find something to work on, start Vibe Code, and start telling this thing what you want it to do. And I'm telling you, it's going to reduce your expenses over the long run. All you really need is, say, like 1 or 2 subscriptions with these Claude tools. All you really need at the end of the day is just AI subscriptions, because these things can literally run your whole entire stack for you. Like, literally, that's the only thing you have to pay for. If anything and you don't know where to start, either get, say, a Claude subscription, maybe a Gemini subscription, or, say, like a Codex, so you can code, right? And then it can literally just run off these foundational models. So that'll be all. See you in another one.